Rachel Weisz. Yes, that's how you say it, Weisz. It's not Weisz or Wise or Weisz or Strabelopoulos or Franklin. It's Weisz. She's smart, and her career right now, one of the hottest actors in the business. She was born in London, England, a model by the age of 13, and then at the age of 14, she was offered a role with Richard Gere in the movie King David. All right, remember that film? Yeah, well, nobody else does either. Rachel, by the way, turned that down. By her mid-20s, though, big-time hit in Hollywood, and you can thank the year 1999, because she plays this librarian adventurer in a little film called The Mummy, and it was a surprise hit. Rachel becomes a star. Since then, she's been busy working on a whole bunch of films, including ones like Enemy at the Gates and Constantine. But last year, Rachel Weisz gets the ultimate honor, an Oscar in the Best Supporting Actress category for her role in The Constant Gardener. This year, she stars in The Fountain, a film written and directed by her fiancé, Darren Aronofsky, who gave us Pi and Requiem for a Dream. Welcome, how are you?
I'm well, how are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. So I watched this movie and I thought it ended in that way that made me feel how beautiful and futile everything really is.
Oh, really?
Well, because it just ends with, be careful what you wish for, because you can't really get it. There's no eternal life.
But for me, what it says is that there is no eternal life. Our life on this earth is finite and pretty short. So please seize the day, smell the roses, and try and live each moment as fully as you can while you're here. You know. Right. Absolutely. And so that's positive, no?
I guess it can be. You know, unless you're really trying hard for the next step.
Right, you know? Right. Would you like to live forever? It'd be too long.
It would be.
Imagine you'd have to go to school for 3,000 years or something.
If they say if you put on 10 pounds a decade, can you imagine what happens when you're 300 years old?
Exactly.
Everybody be a Jerry Springer episode.
Exactly.
It would be so awful. Was this hard to make, this film?
It was, I mean, it's set in 3 time zones, so we shot it like 3 movies. So we shot the present, and then we shot the past, and then the future, so that made things simpler. It was tricky because I have to play someone who's dying of cancer at, you know, a relatively young age, and who's come to terms with dying and is all right about it and is kind of leaving the earth with grace and peace, and that's difficult. That's a difficult place to get to emotionally.
When you spoke to people who were going through this, did you find people had reached that stage in reality?
You know, for the most part, I think what is most human is to be in denial about dying, and I completely. Who knows what's going to happen to me when I'm near the end? I think the thing that was most inspiring to me was talking to people who work. We filmed in Montreal, so they were hospices in Montreal, and they basically help people to die gracefully, and they try and make death beautiful for the people that are there. It's the opposite of a hospital, where in a hospital doctors are trying to, you know, thank the Lord, they're trying to save your life and operate and give you drugs. In the hospices, they're there to keep the doctors away and to just allow people to die with dignity. And their job is death. And so I think speaking to them, they just had a completely different attitude to death than anyone else I'd ever met. So it's very inspiring.
I just wondered, they'd have to do that for their own survival, wouldn't they?
Well, yes, probably, but I think they just genuinely felt that people had a right to a dignified death. I mean, I think they felt that they would they were fulfilling a worthwhile role for society. You know, it's such a taboo subject, isn't it? I mean, we just don't talk about this stuff. I never have. No. Have you?
More of late, rather than when I was. It's just one of the guys on the show was saying something interesting. You become very aware of death at like age 7 or whatever when it's first presented to you. Then you forget about it, and then it slowly creeps back into your life as you get older and older and older, and you start to lose more people, and you watch other people go down around you. And I mean, you're a parent. Do you plan on? Do you educate your kids towards that? Can you get to that point one day where you talk to them about smoking, you talk to them about school, you talk to them about relationships? Do you talk to them about death early? Because we don't do that now as a culture.
No, we don't, and I don't know if it would be right to do that to one's child if one's child. Yeah, and also if they're growing up in a culture where other people aren't talking about death, and I wouldn't want them to be the kind of the odd one out. I know that in Eastern countries have a very different attitude to death, and Buddhists have a very different attitude to death. So I don't know. I don't think I probably will talk too much about. I'll try and rather than talk about death, I'll try and talk about life and say how important it is to live life fully and to grab each moment and to spend time with one's loved ones.
I guess you can just give them Alice Cooper records and they'll figure it out on their own. That's what it's all about. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank
Nice
you.
to see you.
Thank you. Nice
Bye-bye.
to see you.
You too.